Hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video, we are jumping right back into Season 11 with not only a brand new truck, but we're also going to kind of pick back up where we left off in terms of the career missions. Now, currently we're in the process of rebuilding the sign above town that is essentially based off of the Hollywood sign. It says Orestoke, I think is how you pronounce it, but in this video, we're going to be using Yeah Buddy's brand new Silverado ZR2, the new 2024 one, and I finally got my game save migrated over from my old PC to my new PC, so everything should be running as smooth as humanly possible. Now, I will say, though, we're going to go ahead and head over here to the right to grab the slabs that we need, and then we're going to need to bring them all the way back, all the way up here, and drop them off at the sign itself. So we might cut out a little bit of that journey, but at the very least, let's go ahead and fire this truck up and get on over there and grab the slabs, and then we can make our way on out and we'll get into a couple of other topics. So let's pull on in and get these slabs loaded up. Now, one of the other things that I love about the current setup on this truck is the fact that it's probably on the most well-balanced setup for the way that I like to play the game. And what I mean by that is we're running the highway transmission with the mid-level power output. And what I really love about that is that it's just fast enough to where you don't feel like you're crawling along, but it's also fast enough that it's not like, it's also not fast enough that it's constantly getting damage all over the place and you're not having to deal with beating the truck up all the time. And let me just make sure we do in fact need slabs. Okay. Boom, boom. Oh, geez. Oh, I mean, I did put the tow suspension on this thing, but slabs are heavy. Slabs are really heavy. Like, we're gonna have to... Oh, come on! Really? Scraping up the headlights simply because of, like... It was like an inch distance between me and that trailer. Okay. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get back on the main road. And if all we scuff up by doing this mission is a headlight, I think we're alright. So, let's go ahead and see if we can... Oh, we can still get some torque out of it, though, and high. There we go. It does rip. It really does. And even on that mid-power level, you're never gonna end up stopping and thinking, oh, I'm completely down on power. You know what I mean? Now, we might have the rear suspension near maxed out, but what I'm actually really impressed about is that this thing isn't pulling the front axle off the ground constantly. It's actually doing a really, really good job of keeping the front axle on the ground, because we don't have a weighted bumper on it either, and that made me really nervous as far as like setting off with a really, frankly, with like cargo this heavy. And easy. I think we'll go ahead and take the shortcut. I was originally going to stay on the road, and then I had a little bit of indecision, and I was like, yeah, we might as well just go ahead and take the shortcut, because it did a great job coming through here initially, and I was like, well, maybe it'll be worse with the weight, and then I was like, well, the weight will probably actually give us a little bit of extra traction, and so far, it is not well, it's a little bit of an issue. Let me try low plus and just leave it there. Just keep very consistent momentum. I mean, we are 100% maxing out that rear suspension, and I'm really nervous to use the active lift, because I feel like if I put the active lift in high mode, we'll probably start picking the front axle up off the ground. I mean, I feel like having the having the active lift in low mode is probably the only reason why we're not dealing with, like, wheelie issues. Come on, come on. Oh, you've almost found the grip. There it is. Oh, and then I give it too much steering angle input and we drive into a rock, and then that's that. So that's just kind of how SnowRunner is. I mean, you're going to have to deal with scenarios like that pretty much all the time. But in this particular season, there's a lot of shortcuts you can take, but a lot of them end up running through areas where there's a lot to drive yourself up on. There's a lot to A, drive yourself up on, and B, there's a lot to drive yourself up on in a way that will tragically immobilize your truck if you get it wrong. Now, there are some other things that I really want to take a look at some point on both this map and the other map, and I really want to get some work done on the other map specifically, because the other map I've spent so much less time on than this one that it's like, I don't know, I feel like I haven't given myself enough of an experience on the second map yet. Come on. Yeah, that mid-range power level is definitely enough. I do not find myself driving this thing and going, it needs more power. Like, I mean, I'm sure you could add more power to it and it would be explosively fast and explosively torquey if you had the performance tune. But like, this mid-range tune just feels like a really solid tow tune. And honestly, I mean, look at what we're using it for. That's pretty much the most balanced setup you can have. I do wish there were a few drive-through repair stations though, because the lack of drive-through repair stations on this route, and kind of like, I mean, I believe there is at least one on this map. I don't know if there's more than one, but the fact that we have a distinct lack of drive-through repair stations, it just kind of, I don't know, it makes me sad, especially none that are kind of right off of the main route like this. I mean, according to the sign, it is, they are stoked for something. The rest of it isn't done, but the part that says they're stoked is done. All right. God, the amount of weight on that trailer will push you so much. Especially if you're onto like the slicker pavement. If you're on the slicker pavement, you can forget it. It is so slick. Now, I think what we should probably go ahead and do is swing wide, cut back in, and well, the trailer is just trying to push me, so we ended up swinging wider than I wanted to. And then once we get some momentum, I'm gonna just throw the truck in high and not lift all the way to the top of the hill. And so far, hasn't been a bad decision. I mean, we're pulling the front axle a little bit, but I am not at all surprised that it's pulling. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not at all surprised that it's pulling the front axle on an uphill grade with a ton of weight on the trailer. Oh, come on. Oh, no. We were literally right there before it stalled. It was that close. It was that close. And then it was like, yeah, I'm gonna give up. Oh, look. I actually kind of forgot that the Edison was still up here. And I'm not sure why I forgot the Edison was still up here, but I kind of just did. And boom. Oh. You know, I was really hoping that, like, I was hoping there would be, like, a more in-depth animation than that, other than it just, like, popping into view. Like, oh, here you go. I don't know. I was hoping that it would, like, put itself together in stages. I don't know. Maybe that's just, like, me being particular or specific. But either way, the sign is done, and then now we can move on to another task. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and delete that trailer, and we're going to recover this truck back to the garage. Now, I'm also thinking, or rather, I'm trying to think ahead with this, because as far as the other jobs that are available out here, there are a lot. I mean, there are a ton, including everything from road building tasks to recovery tasks to pretty much everything in between. There's also a little bit of exploration that still has to be done, like in particular this area, and there's also potentially some hidden vehicles that we have yet to discover and have yet to dig up. There's also a whole bunch of unexplored area out here, but I really don't think that that in particular is going to be all that big of a deal. I do need to fix this right here to kind of get the main road open again. And I definitely want to fix this as well. But if y'all enjoyed this episode of Season 11 in SnowRunner, I know it was a little bit of a shorter one, but we're just trying to kind of like regain the groundwork that we had before. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.